is stress? We all talk about stress, but we're not always clear about what stress is. Stress is a part of life, but it's both good and bad, but when does it become a problem? The American Institute of Stress defines stress as physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension, or a condition or feeling experienced when a person perceives the demands exceeded the personal and social resources the individual is able to mobilize. The body becomes overworked, leading to symptoms of headache, upset stomach, alleviated blood pressure, chest pain, depression, anxiety, and problems sleeping. Prolonged tests also worsen acute and/or chronic disease and illness. Social and psychological circumstances can cause long-term stress and have powerful effects on health. Stress is a big problem in Canada, but also here at Western. In 2012, the Canadian Organization of University and College Health found that almost 90% of 30,000 post-secondary students across Canada felt overwhelmed by all they had to do in the past year. This is because some health issues students face are often overlooked. Students are struggling with many different issues, such as health, relationships, academics, and finances. Most of the time, students are juggling 3 or more of these issues at the same time. Contrary to popular perception, being a student is not easy. So we decided to create a survey to discover the stress levels of Western University students. We were able to conduct an anonymous survey of 100 university students. The survey consisted of 10 multiple choice questions. Let's take a look at what they said. When we asked if the students were stressed, 97% of students reported that they were stressed. From the percentage, the majority of students reported they were very stressed or overwhelmingly stressed. Only a total of 6.2% of students claimed they coped very well with stress. Stress is an issue for students on campus because 85.6% reported stress negatively impacts their ability to perform well academically. Whereas the Canadian Organization of University and College Health said that 39% of Canada's post-secondary students say that stress is affecting their performance at school. What does Western University offer to help students deal with their stress? Services offered at Western include counseling and psychiatry, medical care, wellness education, and student development. 64% of students who took the survey say they are aware of some and/or all of Western services related to mental health and stress, but the majority of the students do not use them, and out of the 10% of students who have used Western services, the majority of them had a poor experience. So we asked the staff members at the Wellness Education Center and Psychology Services at the Student Development Center for their point of view on this topic. Our first stop was the Wellness Education Center, which had a soft opening in February of this year and officially opened in September. We interviewed Kelsey, the Wellness Education volunteer, who has a PhD in counseling and education. We asked, do you think stress is a prevalent topic here at the Wellness Education Center? Definitely, stress is a big one. And she went on to explain that the Wellness Education Center is working on teaching students to search help for stress before it gets too overwhelming. Also, in order to deal with one's stress, they have to first address the root cause. We want to help students to not let stress mess with their success. Then we asked the Wellness Educator Center volunteer Danny how many people utilize their services. She said approximately 15 to 20 students will come up and ask questions at the desk during her volunteer hour, although this varies. Kelsey also stated that about 6 people attend the drop-in meditation session hosted daily. They also host Tai Chi and yoga over the lunch hours. Next we asked, do you see an increase of students coming in during midterm exams? Yes, and there are different questions we ask that we get referring to exams, from how do I get by to how do I take a multiple choice test. There are all these different learning skills workshops that have been available since September that are used for memory, how to write multiple choice tests, for managing study time, and so on. So now it's about how do you explain to someone that this is something you can go and do for an hour to help you succeed. That's ultimately the next step. Next up, we visited the psychology services at the Student Development Center. We interviewed Brent, the intake counselor. We asked, "Do you think stress is a prevalent topic here at the Student Development Center?" "Absolutely," Brent said. "It's a big one, especially at this time of year during midterms." Second, we asked, what are some ways this facility helps students cope with their stress? He stated that there are different options that students can use here at the Student Development Center. It depends on where their stress is coming from. They could go for help at the writing center or talk to a counselor one-on-one, and they can also give advice for time management skills. But why is it that when students are surveyed, we found that the majority of Western students do not utilize these services? The Journal of American College Health found that low treatment rates are related to help-seeking behaviors among university and college students, which involves the stigma around asking for help, meaning that one is weak or attention-seeking. The study conducted that the most commonly reported barriers to seeking treatment were a preference for dealing with stress alone, the belief that stress is normal in university, not seeing their needs as serious, and not having time for treatment. As students, we all live very busy lives that are not conducive to taking the time out of our day to access the necessary resources, as extra time in our day is spent studying, socializing, and/or working. According to the Journal of Affective Disorders, in repeated studies, it was found that approximately 50% of the student experiences significant levels of stress is in the form of anxiety and/or depression. Universities need to employ preventative interventions that reach larger groups of students and not merely rely on individual counseling services to meet student needs. In our own results, we found that out of 100 students surveyed, 36 were aware of the services and only 10% of students use this individual counseling services and programs offered by Western University. What are the weaknesses of Western services for stress? Problems we see with Western stress services are that some services are only hosted on specific times, such as the drop-in meditation sessions, and services are confusing or ambiguous in their titles, such as Reconnect with Nature workshops. Lastly, many of the services are not properly advertised and promoted, making them unknown to the average Western student. It is a perceived notion by many on campus that overwhelming stress is just a part of life. However, that is not the case. Getting help does not mean that you are weak. It means that you are strong for knowing that you need help. So what do we do to increase the number of students that use Western services? According to Western students surveyed, in order to increase the use of these services and make the experience more beneficial, there needs to be an increased awareness and availability of services, more health promotion from the staff, greater acceptance of mental health issues from the staff. With that said, what can we do to fix bad stress on campus? We can't eliminate it all completely, as stress is a part of life, but we need to help students manage it better. We can accomplish this by increasing awareness, identifying stress as an issue, and a petition for fall reading weeks. Here are some tips that we came up with to help students deal with stress. You can start by improving your time management skills and start using an agenda to set goals. Taking time for yourself to recharge and relax by using the gym or taking yoga classes can really help to reduce stress levels. Making time for family and friends is also vital as they bring you happiness and comfort. Or start a journal to reflect on your day or use an adult coloring book. Also, a key intervention is getting sleep. Getting enough sleep every night, which is around 7 to 9 hours, allows your brain to recharge and your body to fully rest. Finally, it is important to be kind and reward yourself for the goals that you have completed. Recognize that no one is perfect and your mental health is important as well. We also compiled the list from our interviews at the Wellness Education Center and Student Development Center from when we asked the question, what suggestions do you have for students to deal with stress? Here's what the professionals said. Get help before your stress becomes too much. See outside tunnel vision of school study focus. Know that you're not alone. Everybody has stress. And most importantly, take time for yourself. Eat, sleep, exercise. So make sure to get that help you need to not let stress mess with your success. Additional off-campus resources also include: let's help each other to help ourselves.